Hey guys, back with another stream. We're gonna today do some flight FSEconomy using the Beechcraft B1900D going from KSAN to KIYK. 2 stops, 19 passengers. Might pick up some more at the destination in Yorkin, which is in California, Central California. Let me just show you what we're going to be doing here and the flight plan. So here we go. Start at KSAN, San Diego, which is at 0 altitude. Then we're going to end up at EMT, San Gabriel. Okay, San Gabriel is at 300. But then we've got to climb up into the mountains, 8,000 feet. So we're going to go up to about 10,000 feet, get over those mountains, and then we'll start to descend back down into in Yorkin, which is at 2,500. So we're going to have to get our asses up here, right over this mountain ridge, the San Gabriel Mountains, I guess this is. Pomona is around here, so we've got a little bit of time to get up in the air and get up at 2,400, but then our peaks get up. Now I may try to snake through here, which we probably do right through here, but we'll see. But I've got the flight plan set up with GPS to get us lined up on runways, and here's our FSEconomy, KSAN to KEMT to KIYK, total of 19 passengers. Got 200 gallons of fuel. It's a 190 nautical mile flight. I need about 110 gallons, so we got plenty of fuel. All right, and that should be it for the planning side. Should be a fun trip. And let's go ahead and get started. So into the cockpit here, we're in VR using Oculus Rift, FlyInside, and it's a really wonderful way to fly. I've already taken the liberty of converting the flight plan from SkyVector, so I can just basically upload it right into the GPS here. Let me get myself centered. Sorry about that. We're holding short here on the runway. So I'm going to go to flight plan and go to menu, scroll. This doesn't allow me to scroll. Okay, it doesn't allow me to scroll. I can't do it on here. Thought I'd be able to do it. Let me do it this way then. To show you this window, so you can see what I'm doing. And now you can see the GPS here. We're going to go to flight plan, menu, we're going to scroll down, delete the old flight plan, clear that out. Then we go to scroll here. And we get our cursor. You can see I've got KSAN to KY. I already have that set up. So when I pull that in, look at my flight plan, there I am with all my GPS route, and we're good to go. So pretty simple. I can actually scroll down here. Oh, crap. Let me just do this. Clear. Scroll down, then activate that leg. That's our first leg. So, and there we go. So let's get this clear. Let me get back to the map. Change this to GPS. Get this cleared out here, and we should be ready to roll. Thanks for joining the stream here. So we're going to climb to 10,000 or thereabouts to get ourselves through those mountains and on the way up there. So one thing you got to make sure here is you got to make sure you're on the main tanks. Okay, you do have auxiliaries, but you got to make sure you're on the main tanks. Actually, my aux tanks have more than my mains right now. But I'm sure once I fill up, that'll change. So what I want to do here is I'm all warmed up. We're good to go with the GPS. Assume we did the checklist. Okay, get rid of the steering wheel. On my heat on, pitot heat on. Clear that alarms. The only thing we have on is low fuel, and once we do the FSEconomy, turn that on, we should have plenty of fuel here. So let's get that going. FSEconomy, open, logging. You guys can't see this, but start up the flight. Boom. And if I look down, I just want to make sure. All right, so I'm en route, so I'm good to go there. If I look down here, I should have much more fuel, which I do. Okay, so all the fuel's in, ready to go, and that's about it. So let's get in the air and get ourselves make some money. 13 grand, probably make about 10 grand, somewhere around there. Looking forward to it. Okay. Getting decent frame rates. Yeah, no, well, 19 frames per second. There's a lot of auto gen around here, so it's going to be a little bit chunky until we get out of the San Diego area. All right. Get ourselves nice and lined up here. See our GPS route right there. Gonna turn to the northeast. First thing you got to do here, now this is the Coronado B1900. You got to be careful not to rev the engines. What I do is I bring the torque up to about 35. You don't want to rev the engines, because if you do, you will blow them and they'll catch on fire. So 35, that should be plenty. Want the flaps to 1, the first setting. Once we get everything up and running, we'll release the brakes, and here we go. Use the pedals to keep things on the center line. Get our airspeed up. Got plenty of runway here. Airspeed is good, and rotate. Okay, good. We are airborne. Wheels up, flaps up, making our turn. Good to go. Got a little bit of a peak to contend with there, but that's all right. We're going to get, again, we're going to climb to, well, why don't we climb to initially, just make sure I'm heading right here. Yeah, so our first is the easy climb, or easy flight, so we don't have to be too high. So we'll keep it around 2,000. The first stop is pretty easy. Let's just get our nav on, and autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
All right, we'll start to pick up the navigation link. And then we'll set the altimeter once we get to 2,000, I think is fair. And then we're not going to fly too high because we're making a quick stop. We only have 80 miles to go. Alright, so now we could pull back on the prop a little bit. I like to bring it down to about 16. And then I bring the throttle back down so the fuel flow, we get it just below 5. And that way we're conserving on fuel. And should get us there at a pretty quick clip. Check our frame rates, 22, that's fair. And we are good to go. Alright, so we've got 80 miles, 79 miles. About a 20-minute trip here across the water, and then we'll turn into our first land at EMT. drop off the passengers, and then we'll be heading off to our longer trek, higher trek up through the mountains. So there you have it. Let me get the panel lights on so we can see stuff around here. Thanks for checking the stream out, guys. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about VR or X-Plane 11 or whatever, I'm happy to answer those for you. I'm just doing a flight here. It's going to be about 200 miles total. Just getting started. In the Beechcraft the Coronado Beechcraft B1900D, which is a 19-passenger plane. 18 in the back and I guess 1 to the side. And actually I could spin around here and show you. Let me get my mouse cursor going here. If I go like this, new feature of FlyInsideXP. Oops. I can open these doors and show you back there. We got what is it? 8 rows. So 8. Is that 8 rows or 9 rows? 9 rows. So 18 back there, and then 1 on the side. Little compartment here with, I guess, the audio system and stuff. So that's our cabin back there. Back in the cockpit. Looking good. This is the first VR flight you've seen, Dang Driver. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer those for you. Just show you guys the outside here a little bit. It's a beautiful plane. I love this plane. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to translate what I'm actually seeing in VR because it's obviously 3D. You can't see that. There is a way to stream a stereoscopic, but you would have to have a 3D headset to be able to view it. A lot of people don't have that. We'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. But you know, I only fly in VR. To me, it's the only way to fly. Personally, it's so much more immersive and interesting. Here, when I'm here, I'm gonna get let me get K E N T up here. Port K E T Monte. So now Monte, we're gonna be landing at 1. We're gonna be landing at runway 1. Oh yeah, with the B1900, you can make a good amount of money. That's for sure, because you can carry 19 passengers, and you know, those are expensive trips. But the net is usually, you know, between anywhere between $7,000 and $10,000. So it's pretty good trips. So this one we should. Yeah, it's one. You know, if you're flying FSE and you're using X-Plane, a good plane to start with is the King Air C90, because that, I think you put 12 people on that plane, and you could do really well with that plane. This one you have to buy. It was $35, I think it was, but it's well worth it because, you know, you can get those extra seats, and plus I really love flying this plane. It's just a lot of fun to fly. Back in the cockpit here. Now everything I'm looking at here I see in 3D. Yeah, it's 11. Okay, yeah, that's. I mean, I've flown the King Air quite a bit in FSC, and it's a good money. It's a good money maker. It's a fun plane to fly. It's not as the problem for me is that the cockpit doesn't have is not really at that 3D. The gauges are all like 2D, so it doesn't look that cool. This plane, all the gauges are 3D, and they're pretty high definition graphics, so it looks really cool. And that's, to me, that's part of it, right? I'm in VR, I want it to look really cool. Yeah, I guess they're kind of hard to find in the system, those two planes. It's the stock X planes and the stock, I guess, the stock FSX planes are going to be easy to find, but the it's tougher to find a lot of those other ones. For example, oh, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. The Cessna, I think the Cessna C172, the stock 172. I think there's actually something like 45 of those for sale right now in FSE. That's a lot of planes for sale. A lot of planes for sale. So I have a Cessna. It's in San Diego. I fly it from time to time, and San Diego is like one of the highest activity. KSAN is one of the highest activity airports that there is, and it doesn't get much use at all. My Cessna. So I'm actually not sure what I'm going to do. I may sell it because I want to buy a B1900D because that's the plane I fly the most, so it would be kind of cool to have one. So, but we'll see. I have it. Hopefully, a couple people will rent it here and there, but again, it just doesn't get much activity at all. Maybe a couple times a week it gets rented. But yeah, so the thing is that to buy a B1900, I think it's like 1.2 million in the game. So I think I have 420,000 right now. So I don't want to take a loan, although I could, but I don't want to take a loan to be, slave to a payment. So, it's sort of like I'd rather just do it, earn the cash and buy one. Yeah, it's too small, but it's also fun. What I really like doing with the 172 is flying in Hawaii, doing FSE in Hawaii, because you can do island to island, and it's really pretty. It's interesting flights. It's cool little airports. I really do like that. And also I fly Pilot Edge too, so I use the 172 for that because that's the plane I'm most comfortable with. I feel like I can fly that thing through through a needle. So I'm comfortable with that plane. I know it pretty well. And so when I'm flying FSE and FSEconomy, I like to use that plane. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't, I know there's people that can lend you money to buy a plane. I don't know. I think I just want to earn the cash to buy it and play the game the right way and just build up the money. And I know you can borrow. I think you could borrow $50,000 from the bank if you want to, but I'm not going to borrow any money. I also want to start getting into FOBs, although I'm pretty, most of the good FOBs are already taken. At least that's what I've seen in initial research. So we'll see. I'm not sure. For me, I just like flying. Yeah, me too. So if you go days without time to fly and you have to make a payment, come on, right? So I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just buy cash and have it sitting there and not owe anybody any money. Anyway, it's a really cool. I love this plane. The cockpit looks so cool. There's a lot of, it's a lot of similarities to a Baron, which is also a Beechcraft. It's got the two stacks of the twin engine dials right there. It's kind of like that, but much more instrumentation. I'm happy with the G530, which is a great GPS. I love using that. You just won 2 FOBs in a raffle on the forum. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they did that. That's a great idea to raffle off that. In fact, maybe what I'll do is is to help promote the stream, I'll just buy a couple of cheap FOBs and raffle them off. That's a good idea. Anyway, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because I think FOBs, if you can get the right ones, that can help you start to generate some cash. So I'm going to look into that. I just don't, I don't know the ins and outs of that yet, But I tell you, it's a really ingenious system. It helps you, get more engaged with flying, which is what it's all about. I wish the systems were a little bit more user-friendly, as if like, searchable and, stuff like that, like being able to easily find like multiple hops. You'd think that, there'd be some tools to do that, because that's how you really make the money with a larger plane, right? Having multiple hops. You kind of have to do that manually, which is kind of a pain in the neck. But I did find one thing. There's this on the forum. If you search Heather Report real estate, there is this one dude that put a database together that tells you about where the most popular airports are, but I haven't really found anything that tells you, like helps you with route assignments. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too, the FOBs. But people say that they're money makers, and that's what you want, right? You want those money makers, those things that are going to just basically generate cash for you. I thought owning a 172 would do that, but apparently that's not the case. All right, let me just check things out here, make sure all the systems are good to go. All right, so we're still at 2,000. We've got about 7 minutes to our GPS turning point. Is going to line us up to the runway to EMT, about 20 miles, 28 miles, plenty of gas. What I like to do is put the fuel pumps on auto before I land. I have had issues with the engine stalling out for whatever reason, and then I basically put the pumps on, and then they come right back. So I'm not sure what that is, but I have had some issues with that. But yeah, you got to make sure if you own this plane that you switch this to main, because it's always on aux. The default is on aux, the tanks. Oh, check it out. There's a carrier out there. That's pretty cool. See if I can zoom in and check that out. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so for me to describe this, every switch looks like I could reach out and touch it. The fire pull switches look like I could reach out and touch it. The gauges have depth to them. They look like they have glass in front of them. Everything looks three-dimensional, which is really awesome. It's what you want, right? All right, let me just see if I can zoom into this carrier here. It's heading into port, it looks like. Pretty cool. All right. Oh, look at that. Looks like there's an island out there that I didn't hit with Ortho 4XP. It's all white. I have to check that out. So I have all the Pilot Edge territory all with Ortho 4XP. All right, so we're, I guess we're going to be about 12 miles out, I think. Yeah, I actually try to do all that planning up front. So, like in this case, I did all this planning up front, so I know, where I'm going, what I'm picking up, so it makes it a little bit easier. All right, so let's see. Now, I can't see chat when I have the headset on, guys, so not ignoring you. Just talks amongst yourselves. One thing in VR is plane command really helps. Alright, we've got a little bit of time here. Moving along nicely. We got our ground speed's 239. And I could see everything really well. A little fuzzy on the smaller text, but definitely readable. And I actually need glasses for reading, and here I don't need them. But I often wonder if I need a prescription. I just use reading glasses. If my vision will improve in VR, we'll see. If it'll get a little less foggy. All right, so coming up here, 15 miles to our turning point. Heading inland now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that ortho. One thing interesting about this plane, if you look back there, you can't see the wing, but if I stick my head out the window, you can see the wing and the engine. Isn't that weird? Look at that. I don't know what that is. Someone told me there's a fix for that with this plane. And there's a link to fix it, but it's just not that important to me, so I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, so everything's looking good here. I'm going to want to bring my propeller back up when I get ready to land. I always land fly by hand. You know, I basically I want to take control of the plane. I don't like to use procedures for approach. I just figure out where the airport is and land it. One thing you really comes helpful in VR is the zoom function. So if I put the mouse out here and I zoom like this, I can see much further out, like a pair of binoculars, which is pretty cool. So if you guys are watching, don't forget to hit the follow button. Dang Driver, I appreciate you following. Thank you. I also have a YouTube channel, Bambino Games, where I post all these videos, so if you don't get a chance to watch the whole thing, you can watch them there. I also have other stuff on X-Plane and VR and stuff like that on there, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Bambino Games. Subscribe to that. Alright, we got 2 minutes to our turn here. Thing burns a lot of gas. We got 19 people on, so we're burning a lot of gas. We'll probably have to fill up here a little bit. The calculation had me at 105 gallons for the whole trip, but we'll see. Now, unfortunately, there's nobody. I don't think I can pick anybody up here to take them to final destination, but that's all right. We're going to have to fly over those mountains to get to where we're going, which should be a pretty flight. Yeah, I'm not using Pilot Edge even though I'm in California because I'm still like a Cat 4. So I'm not super proficient with flying into towered airports and controlled airspace. And I need to get better at that before I start to mix the two. I did my first Pilot Edge FSEconomy non-towered to non-towered this morning. In fact, the video will be up later on today, which was a lot of fun. And it's really enjoyable to do that, but it's non-towered to non-towered. So once I get more proficient with towered communication, then I'll start to mix that in more. But you know, I'm still learning. I'm still building up my confidence on the radio and talking to ATC and stuff like that with Pilot Edge. So you know, on these longer flights, I do non-Pilot Edge because I'm just not proficient on it yet. So that's the reason why. So I'm sorry, don't understand what you just wrote there, but if you want to repeat that in English, that'd be great. All right, so we're getting close here to our turn. Feet on the rudders, ready to go. Still in autopilot. We'll make the turn 12 miles in. We'll pick up, I like to pick up the airport first, get it in sight, and then start to descend in. It's going to be at 300 feet, so we've got 1,700 to go down. Shouldn't be too difficult. I think we're getting pretty good frame rates here, and not really, 18, not great. Once we get out of the city, there's a lot of auto-gen around here. It's a built-up area, and once we get over to the mountains, we'll get better frame rates. So let me see if I can pick up my airfield. Don't see it. Let's wait till we're about 9 miles and we should be able to see it. We'll see. Start to slow the plane down. We'll get our flaps to 1. Prop in. And we are 9 miles out. See if we can get a good look here. I don't see it. That's not good. Oh, there we are. Okay, gotcha. So we're a little off here, so we're going to have to come to the north a little bit. So I'm going to get the gear down. And I'm going to take it off autopilot, and we're going to just tilt our way over this way, get ourselves lined up. Got a heavy plane here, 19 people. Let's get our fuel pump to auto. And there's our airport right over there, so... just to make sure we'll get our spot to look. All right, there we go, right there. Okay. I got it. Good. Not a terribly big airport. Our flaps to 2, and we're going to start to descend. We're at 1,200 feet now. Start to slow the plane down. Hard to discern the runway from the taxiway, but I think I have it now. In fact, I know I have it now. Certainty is a good thing in aviation. You don't want to say I think. You want to say I know. 500 feet. Slowing up. Flaps full, gear down. Gas in, prop in. I've been flying the Cessna all day, earlier today, so this thing seems like much more of a beast because it just moves faster. All right, we're doing good here. 200 feet. Might be a little rough because I'm just not used to this plane yet today. Kind of a funky little airport, isn't it? Oops. A little bouncy, that's all right. All right, let's get it stopped here. We're going to turn around. We're going to need plenty of runway to take off, so let's taxi off here, clear the runway. Take that landing. I don't think I damaged anything. Yes, yeah, so this is an X-plane airport. I didn't. This is not an overlay, so this is a standard X-plane airport. Got the nice hangars and the King Air right there. A couple of Cessnas, a few cars. All right, we'll hold short right over here. It's a smaller airport, so we'll hold short right here. Set parking brake?
Brake set.
All right. So now what we got to do is shut down the engines. There's the flight. I just kicked everything back in, and hopefully the engines will start up again here. So let me go to our FSEconomy so we can see that. All right, so we made $3,400 in that first leg. We got the second leg going to KSAN. We're at EMT, and EMT unfortunately does not have anything else going to KSAN, so we can't pick anybody else up. But that's okay, because we're going to make some coin on this one. All right, let's just make sure we got enough gas. We're going 95 miles, call it 110 miles, and we've got 12 passengers. All right, so we're going to go 58. We should have plenty of fuel, but I'm going to need some coming back anyway. Well, no, I'm just going to leave it at that. I should be fine. 130. Should be fine. All right, good. So that's that, and let me get back to here. It was Swedish. Oh, no problem, man. No problem, dude. All right, so let's get, we should have our engines rolling here, which we do. And our GPS is set. We want to put our flaps to 1. We want to have our, turn the pumps off. Only use those for landing. And then let's, you guys can't see this, but I'm just initiating FSEconomy for our second leg, 130 gallons. Now all those are showing en route. So we are good to go. So we're going to taxi here, take off, and get our ass to our next stop. Here we go. Okay, so let me just make sure we got, clear the alt. Clear the altimeter, we got plenty of gas. All right, here we go. We have 12 passengers, so we're a little bit lighter. But again, we got to get up high here. I'm gonna make a right. Let me just make sure, check out my GPS here. All right, so I could probably make a right and fly right to that passage there, and then we'll pick up the GPS route afterwards. So flaps are 0. Let's rev things up. Get the torque up to 35. So we're within range. Good. And let go of the brakes, and we're off. All right, speed's coming up, and rotate. Positive rate, gear up, flaps up. Now, I'm not sure if the best way to go is through that crevice or right over there. I think I'm actually going to go over here. It's just kind of a shorter stint here, or less altitude. And then we can just fly back to pick up our route, hopefully. Yeah, on second thought, we're going to go this way. We're climbing solid. We're going to get it up there. Just look at my altitudes here. So we're going to have to get it up to probably, well, I don't think quite 8,000. That peak over there is 8,000, so probably going to have to be 7 though. We have a good climb rate. Beautiful, beautiful scene, beautiful mountains. Coming up to 5,000. And we're continuing to climb. Good airspeed, about 200 knots, ground speed. Passing 6. And once we get over this range, it's we'll be able to get back down to about 4. Let's get an outside look here. That's what it looks like. You can see once we get over this range, we're like golden. San Gabriel's, I guess these are. Yeah, so we're probably perfect here. So let's get our altitude. We're at 8,600. Autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
And set our altitude. And then we could probably start to descend. Just want to make sure the elevation of the airport is, let's just see here, where are we? Can't read it. I'll tell you in a second. Elevation is 2,500. 2457, so call it 2500. All right, so we'll want to be at 35. We have 4,000. Once we get over these mountains, we'll descend to 4. So I'll bring my prop back a little bit, and I'll bring my fuel flow back a little bit. Get my VR wires kind of crossed here. All right, so that's good. So now we can start to descend. We don't need to be up this high. So let's get it on vertical speed. We'll go -5. Till we get her down to 4,000. So it should take us about 2 minutes. Sit back and relax. Let the computer do the work. Check out the scenery. Look at that. It's beautiful, man. I wish you could see this in VR. It just goes on forever and looks so real. It really does. Out the other side. Pretty awesome. There's our emergency stuff up there, our light panel and electrical panel on the top. And we're looking good. Coming down. Plenty of places to land in an emergency. A lot of barren desert out here, where the dinosaurs once roamed. So it seems that the Rift sales have been pretty brisk. Everything I've read said that they're basically back ordered. The record sales, which is really pretty cool. I think, I've been thinking about this, and I think Oculus and Facebook they're not stupid, right? So they basically cut the price of the device in half, pretty much, right? So think about that. Remember back in the old days of cell phones when you could get an iPhone for like $200, right? And why was that? Because they wanted to get everybody on the service so that they could charge them the monthly. Well, now that the market's pretty much saturated, the price is back up. Right now, you can't. AT&T and Verizon, they changed their plans so that you no longer get a $200 iPhone if you sign up for 2 years. You have to buy it on time, so you have to pay full price, right? So roll back the clock to when they started with the cheaper devices. That's where the VR market is today. So Oculus is spending all this money on Oculus Studios and developing content, and they've got third-party developers that they're investing in, et cetera, et cetera. And in order to sell that content, they have to have devices out there. So the strategy is take a little bit of a margin hit on the devices and recoup the margin on the content. So that's, in my mind, that's what they're doing here, right? Now, it puts HTC in a bit of a bind because they don't have the same content engine, I think, that Rift has, that Oculus has. So it was really, if you think about it in those terms, it's really a pretty brilliant move, if that's what is going on here. Because they catch HTC at their weakness, which is they don't have a studio arm, where I'm pretty sure Oculus Studios is what developed Robo Recall and a lot of these other really cool games. So content is king, as it always is. So I think that's their strategy here. I think they want to get a lot of devices out there cheap so that they get more and more adoption and people buy more and more software. And it's pretty simple, right? So let me know if you guys agree with that or not. I think that's To me, it makes sense. You know, you look for a weakness in your competitor and you try to expose it, and to me, that's probably the best way for them to expose it. Now, I know HTC has invested in a developers fund, but that's a little different, right? That's, you know, they own part, I guess maybe they own part of these companies, but they don't actually own the studio, where Oculus has a vested interest in content development. So it's a content game, and I think by reducing the price of this device, it gets them further along in the game than their competitors. So anyway, just a thought. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, we're at 6,400. We're climbing down or descending down to 4,000. And we've got 40 miles to our turning point, which will line us up with, what is the hell's the name of this airport? I can't pronounce it. In Yorkin. I'll remember that. In Yorkin Airport. Drop off our passengers, and we may head back to San Diego, or to San Diego. I think in Yorkin has a couple of people we can take back there. We'll see. All right, 6,200. But I don't think that, in fact, let me look. I'm pretty sure HTC hasn't changed their price. Let me see. They did. Yeah, I mean, it's still $800, right? I mean, they're offering payment plans, but I'm just looking at the prices here. You guys can't see this. I'm going on Amazon. HTC Vive. Let's see, what is it on Amazon? Yeah, it's still $800. So, I mean, it's been, what, a month and a half now that they've had this promotion, maybe longer. And Vive has not had any counteraction to that at all, which tells you that they can't do it. They can't do it. Oculus isn't just going to give their stuff away, right? They have to have a reason why they lowered the price, and it's got to be for content. It's got to be. You know, maybe now they're only making $100 a device or $150 a device, right? Instead of making, you know, $400 or $300 a device. But they're going to make it up on the back end, you know? I mean, think about that. I mean, there's minimal differences between the two, really. I mean, you could look at both of them and say, I like both of them. And, you know, if it's a minimal difference, which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the one that's $400, or you're going to buy the one that's $800? To me, it's a no-brainer, right? So that's why Rifts are flying off the shelves right now, and I'm sure they're not selling many Vives. Pretty interesting. If that's what they did, it's pretty smart of Oculus and Facebook. Pretty smart. All right, we got 30 miles to our turning point here. We're at 5,300 feet, just slowly descending down to 4,000. Barren desert. Nothing out here at all, really. A few little towns here and there, it looks like, but pretty barren. Yeah, that's amazing. This sale's been going on for over a month, and HTC still has not changed their price. Wow, that's. Now they're probably offering discounts, or they're probably. I think they offer $100 store credit for content or something like that. You know, Still, that's not the same thing, right? I mean, $400, you're getting the Rift, touch controllers, everything you need. To me, it would be a no-brainer which one I would buy right now. I mean, I'm partial Rift anyway, but if I tried both of them, which I have, I've used both of them, I would definitely go with a Rift, just on price alone. Because knowing that probably in about 12 to 18 months, we're going to see a new wave of VR technology coming out that has better displays, higher density, better displays, so that it'll improve the, probably closer to 14.4, I would say, not 4K, maybe 14.4. And so investing $400 now and then down the road, having to sell that and buy the newer one, it's not that big of a deal. But if you have to invest $800 and do the same thing, that's a big deal. I mean, I paid $800 for mine, right? My system, actually, yeah, about $800 for mine. So, when I sell this down the road, when the new technology comes out, which I will do at some point, I'm going to probably be able to sell it for like around $250, $300, somewhere around there, if I'm lucky. Okay? Maybe the touch controllers I won't have to sell. I could still use those. But to sell the headset, I'll probably get maybe $150, $200 for it. But I got plenty of use out of it, right? So I'm not really going to complain about that. But if I have to right now spend $800, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll spend $400. All right, so 4,400. We're only 1,800 feet. I think we're going to stop it right there. 4,400. That's good. And we're about 18 miles from our turn. What's the name of our turn? Let me get the map back here for you. O to G. All right, cool. Yeah, so I've been flying this plane quite a bit in FSEconomy. It is a moneymaker, and it's enjoyable. It's not. Some might say, "Oh, why you're flying the big flights?" Listen, I want to own stuff. I want to start to build an empire, and the way to do that is to rent big planes, fly a lot of people, and make a lot of money, so that you can start to do that. So, but I think I'm going to spend some time later today checking out FBOs and what I need to do to do that. Do I have to get over these mountains? I guess I do, man. Uh-oh, that's not good. All right, I better get up in the air then. I didn't realize I had to do that. All right, so we'll get her up a little bit here. I think that peak is, I'm looking at the chart here. This is Red Rock. Oh, that's Red Rock Canyon State Park. It's 5,000 feet. All right, so I better get her up here. Over there, it's 5,000. Now, I did find a fix online to the flickering clouds. You can turn off cloud shadows. Someone wrote this script to do it, so I'm going to probably do that. But I think it's a manual process every time you start up X-Plane 11, which would be a pain in the ass. Maybe you can automate it through the Lewis script or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But I want to get rid of those. I mean, I like having clouds, because clouds definitely offer some realism. All right, we're at 54. I think we'll go to 56 and we should be okay. Looks like we'll just squeak out enough gas to get there, maybe a little bit to spare. Damn, I love this plane. It's really fun to fly. I'm going to start flying in some of the Aerosphere twin engines too in FSEconomy. I mean, it's only 3 passengers, but those are fun too, you know. Moves a little faster than the Cessna. I like the Seminole, that's my favorite. Okay. A little bit of a peak there. And that ortho looks nice in 3D, I gotta tell you. It really does, it looks pretty cool. Alright, slight turn here, and then we'll pick up our descent into in Yorkin. I'm 100% sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Here's our little turn to 2,500, so we've got 2,000 to go down, or 3,000 to go down. So here we go, and we got 12 miles. Now there's not much around here, so I should be able to pick up this airfield pretty easily. Is that it there? No, that can't be it. That must be it. I'm completely not lined up properly for it. Okay, so we're gonna have to start to slow things down here. Get a good look here. Kind of confused. Like, I guess that's it right there. Just seems too close. All right, well, if that's the case, then I have to come over here. I thought I had a vector right into it, but I guess not. Flaps to full. Coming down pretty quick, but I'm sure the passengers are probably throwing up in their bags right now. It's the only airport out here, so it must be the one. Got a major angle of descent here. Getting down to 14. Now, I'm convinced that in 2D it would be really difficult to do that maneuver I just did. Because I can see everything around, I know exactly where I am situationally. And this is the airport. Not sure why I wasn't lined up properly, but got to get down lower here. We're at 600. Okay, good. Flaps full, gear down. I didn't turn the pumps on, but hopefully I won't lose the engines here. Got a really steep angle. I gotta kind of mellow this out a little bit. Okay. Everything's looking good. All right, not too bad. Flaps up. We'll let the plane roll out so we don't kill the brakes. How about that? I think this is going to about do it. I'll leave this plane here, remember where it is, and then my next flight, here we go. Let's just stop right there and taxi over here. Getting really good at steering with my feet, I gotta say that. Not to pat myself in the back or anything, but getting more and more comfortable with steering with my feet. All right, you know what? Let's just park it right here. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
All right, turn the plane off. Release the engines, and let's get FSEconomy. See how much we made. All right, let me get my glasses on. Go to the log. All right, total of $9,600. Not too bad. Let's take a look at this guy. So no distance bonus on this, which is nice, but there were some fees for fuel and for crew and for ground crew and booking fee and rental cost. So we netted $6,200 for that flight. $9,655 for the total. If I go to banking and let's transfer everything over, it puts me at $432. So I'm a third of the way there to buying a B1900D, which is great. And I want to say thanks, guys, for checking out the stream. I'll be back soon with some more. I'll definitely be streaming more. Again, I apologize for that. It's been a while. I had some internet issues and crazy things at work and stuff. So you'll definitely see more of me on Twitch and on YouTube. So yeah, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, which is Bambino Games, and check out some of the videos I have there. So thanks for watching, guys. Please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Bambino Games for more virtual reality, X-Plane 11, FSEconomy, and also Pilot Edge. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.